Okay. Grade 12s, I hope you guys are here. I hope everybody's here. As we flow into the live, I'm sorry I got a bit distracted here. Hey, TikTok. Oh my goodness, TikTok is just another place. Yeah. So guys, yeah, we are actually looking at sequence and series for the grade 12 syllabus. I gave you guys some game challenge problems yesterday. I'd like to actually look at a few of those problems that I gave you yesterday. Okay, I'm not gonna look at all of them. I'm just gonna take a glance and look at some. All right. What is nice is that as you guys do the problems, I'm also doing them. You know, I'm not just giving you problems to do and not doing them myself. I'm doing these problems myself so that I can actually also sharpen my math skills. Even though I teach maths, does not mean I'm always good at maths. I'll tell you that one thing. So in order to stay on top of my game, I need to make sure that I continuously sharpen my math skills by doing the problems myself and doing them over and over again. Okay, so yeah, I don't take that for granted because when I'm out of practice, I know myself how I actually mess up in things that I shouldn't mess up in because I'm out of practice. So I always worry about someone who is just going to sit here and listen but never take the chance, the time to do the problems themselves. So I'm hoping you guys have your own problems, your own game challenge problems opened, and you are looking to see if you did the right thing as you answered the problems. So if you remember the first few problems that I asked you yesterday, they simply said determine the general term of each of the following arithmetic sequences. We needed to determine the what? The general term for a what? For an arithmetic sequence. So we are no longer dealing with a quadratic sequence, but we are dealing with an arithmetic sequence. So in order to look at how to find a general term, we first write the terms 2, 8, 14. I'm sure you guys saw it was 2, 8, 14. Those were the first three terms that were given for number 1. So our first term, which is denoted by the letter A is equal to 2. Hopefully you wrote that down. D, our constant difference. We take term 2 minus term 1, which can be supported by term 3 minus term 2. We get a 6. 8 minus 2 is equal to 6. So you should all have a first term, which is 2, that's A, and a constant difference, that is 6. Then you go and write out the general term formula for your arithmetic sequence, which is Tn is equal to A plus brackets n minus 1, close brackets D. Remember that we can obviously change the order of the coefficient, which is D, and we can write that constant difference, which is 6, just before the binomial bracket, so that we can then do what? Distribute the 6 to the n, which gives us 6n, the 6 to the negative 1, which gives us negative 6. Then that 2, which is the A, is obviously written, and we have how many terms? 3 terms. 2 plus 6n minus 6. We add the like terms, so that will give us an answer of 6n, we write first, and then 2 minus 6 gives us negative 4. So the nth term, or the general term, for 2, 8, 14 is Tn is equal to 6n minus 4. If you are someone who actually did do this problem and you got it right and correct, please write in the comment section yes, not no, yes. If you did it and you got this correct, you can write yes in the comment section, please. That will show me an indication of how many people have done this. Please don't just do that because I'm asking you to do it, and don't lie. Integrity is of utmost importance. You must be honest. Do not write what you know is not true about yourself. Right? Hopefully, if you are someone who did not give yourself a chance to do this, then it will give you the motivation to take the time and do it yourself. Thank you so much, guys, that did it. Ghana M1, I see. Utai wrote, I see no Ontatile. I can see you guys. If you did it. What's happening with Tato there? Okay, let's look at number 2. Oh, just did it now. We weren't here yesterday. Okay, I see. Kanye. All right. No, it's fine. If you just joined in, then that's fine. That's fine. Look at this. These terms: 10, 7, and 4. So we have 10, 7, and 4, and we need to find the nth term. So the first term, a, is equal to 10. D, which is the constant difference, will be found by taking term 2, subtracting term 1. Okay. 7 minus 10 gives us negative 3. That also can be confirmed by 4 minus 7, which also gives us negative 3. So the constant difference is truly negative 3. Then we write down Tn, the general term. Tn is equal to A plus. Please, people, there's a plus here, which separates n minus 1 times D. But we know that for the purpose of calculation, we write the D multiplied by the binomial n minus 1 first. So positive times a negative gives us a negative, and negative 3 times n gives us negative 3n. Negative 3 times negative 1 gives us positive 3. We distribute this negative 3 inside the binomial term first. Okay, then after that, what do? We then add the like terms. So 10 plus 3 gives us 13, and then negative 3n is our first term. So we have negative 3n plus 13. That is the general term. I see Minentle says yes, which means you got it correct, and Olerato as well. And it seems like, I'm sure there seems to be obviously others that were able to get Tn is equal to negative 3n plus 13. Guys, if you did not get these answers correct, then you need to look into what it is that you did wrong when you answered this question. Yes, Kanye Shongo, it's grade 12. Okay. So please take note of what it is that you are missing, or what it is that you are actually doing incorrectly. Okay. Are you identifying the right first term? Are you calculating the constant difference correctly, taking the later term, subtracting the previous term? Are you doing that correct? Are you perhaps substituting in the wrong formula? Is your formula really A plus brackets n minus 1D? Are you taking the D and distributing it to the binomial term? And are you considering the sign? Negative 3 times positive gives you negative. Negative times a negative gives you positive. So are you considering those things? And lastly, are you adding like terms correctly? If you're struggling with adding like terms, please, guys, use your calculator, all right, so that you can get the correct the correct values. So take note of what it is that you are not doing correctly, so that you can correct that and then continue to do the right thing. Let's look at number 4. Negative 2, negative 4, and negative 6. So the first term is A is equal to negative 2. The constant difference, thank you, Wilmore. The constant difference is negative 4 minus 2. So in other words, negative 4, remember when you say negative 4 minus, remember T2 is minus 4. Your formula already has a minus, but you are subtracting a negative sign. So therefore it's minus. Remember that a negative times a negative will give us a what? A positive. So negative 4 plus 2 gives us a answer of negative 2. That's our constant difference. Okay. I like. Basically, I am accommodating grade 12s for this year. I'm assuming if you are upgrading, you've done the content previously, right? But it's just that you want to improve your results. And if you are going to attend my sessions, it may probably delay you a bit because you already know the basics and so forth. So I would really suggest attending a specific upgrade course, or attending with someone that will actually help you specifically with the things that you struggle the most. I wouldn't want to waste your time as I think I probably would. So I'd rather really suggest that you actually find a suitable avenue. I think there are other people that are doing specifically upgrading for the grade 12s that are seeking to improve their results. But what I'm doing here, I'm teaching grade 12s for 2025 from scratch. So if you feel accommodated, you can stay. But if you feel like this is too lantuka, you can, like I said, otherwise you're welcome if you want, but you don't have to stay. Okay, so a is equal to -2, sorry, and then constant difference is equal to -2 as well. Please, people, let's be very careful of the signs. -4 minus -2, which gives us -4 plus 2, which is -2. So the constant difference is also -2. We go and write down the general formula, write it out, then we substitute. A is -2. Let's remember that. Remember, A is -2, so we substitute in the place of A -2 plus, remember, I usually take the D, the constant difference, and I write it before the binomial bracket. That means the positive and the negative sign will give me a negative sign, and then -2 times n gives me -2n. -2 times -1 gives me +2. Then I add like terms. -2 plus 2 gives me 0. Then -2n, I write that tn as -2n. Okay. Thank you, Wilmo. That's actually very valuable advice. I'll also just, maybe if Alika is still here, there is a YouTube channel. I know there's many great YouTubers that are doing some amazing stuff when it comes to content and delivery of content and teaching. There is a maybe underrated YouTube channel that I'd like you to check out. I recommend it for learners such as yourself. There's a guy that's actually in the region that I'm staying in, but he's a guy who has so many more years of experience than I do and has taught maths for many years. And I've learned some of the things that I'm actually doing from him. There's a channel on YouTube that's called Maths with Armin. I think it's all together, Maths with Armin. What I love about his content is that his content is in color, all right, and he covers some of the more intense topics. Maths with Armin, all right. He's got way more subscribers than I do, and I mean, even during COVID time, he was actually I think he actually designed those videos during COVID time. Very, very good videos. What I also like about his videos is that at the end, when he has covered the content, the full content of a particular topic, he even does videos on with exam paper type questions, and then he does like a solutions video for that particular exam type video questioning that he did. So please look up Maths with Armin. All right, I would suggest him. Check it out on YouTube and really get cracking with that content of his. He's really good. It's actually the first time that in the platform I'm actually talking about Maths with Armin. All right, when you found it, maybe you can give me some feedback via my TikTok inbox. Okay, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people I really respect when it comes to mathematics, and some of them are underrated. There are people that are not really well known. So Maths with Armin, his videos, man, are good, and I like how he uses technology to actually really teach and get concepts through. I think you can spend some time there. It will really help you a lot. Okay, I'm sorry guys for that, but yeah, it's just that Wilmore touched me with his comment, so I thought I had to comment as well. Okay, let's look at this one then. Find the the general term of half, 5/2, and 9/2. So as you can see, these fractions all have the same denominator, so it makes it easy for subtraction and so forth. So if you look at what is the first term, it's a half. There it is. Constant difference, T2 minus T1. In other words, 5/2 minus a half. We get 4/2, and when we simplify 4/2, we get 2. Okay, and I mean, we could take our calculator and punch this into our calculator so that we get the actual value simplified as it is. Okay, but anyways, we know that we get an answer of what? Of 2. 5/2 minus 1/2 gives us 4/2, which if simplified is 2. Then we go ahead we write our general term formula for an arithmetic sequence, because we are told it's arithmetic. Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1d. The d, we write it before the bracket. We distribute the 2 to the n, the 2 to the negative 1. It's positive as well, so positive 2 times n is positive 2n. Positive 2 times negative 1 gives us negative 2. Then that half, we add the like terms. So 2n minus 2 plus half. Now minus 2 plus half, we get an answer of negative 3 over 2. Use your calculator. You don't even have to even do the addition. I just did the addition here because I think maybe at the time when I was doing it I had no calculator, so I just thought let me do the addition manually. But use your calculator, you'll get an answer of 2n minus 3 over 2. Did we get that, guys? Please in the comment section, you're still together here. Sorry about that. Had a bit of an intermission there. Are we together still? Sorry, guys. I had a bit of a intermission there. Bit of a problem. I'm sorry. But are we back? Did we hear how we were able to get Tn is equal to 2n minus 3 over 2? The fraction was confusing me. The fraction 1 is confusing me. Right? So like I was saying, guys, just back here, a is equal to half. I hope we at least get that, right? 2, the constant difference, right? We take t2 minus t1. So what you have to do is you take term 2, which is what? 5 over 2. Then you subtract term 1. So it's like saying 5 over 2 minus a half. And what I'm saying to you guys, you don't have to really bother yourself so much now, with these, the fact that we now have these calculators. You're no longer in grade 10, so what you can simply do is you can just punch it into your calculator. 5 over 2 minus a half. Alright? And then you say equal. And then your calculator will give you the answer. You get a 2 as your answer. You with me? Yeah. So the constant difference, you now have it. Constant difference there is equal to 2. Are you with me? Then we go to our general term. Tn is equal to a plus brackets n minus 1 with the d. Remember, our d is 2. So remember, I like actually writing the d this side of the bracket so that I can see that we distribute what we have inside the bracket. So a is half. That is our first term. Plus d, which is 2. We take the 2, we distribute it to n, we get 2n. We take the 2, we distribute it to negative 1, we get negative 2. Then we add and subtract the like terms. So we have 2n minus 2 plus this half. Then you just take your calculator, guys. Like I said, you don't have to do what I did. You just simply say minus 2 plus, and then in bracket, in your fraction, you say minus 2 plus half, you say equal. You get the answer. It's negative 3 over 2. And that's that, guys. 2n minus 3 over 2. And that's it. Okay? So the fractions don't have to be a pain or a challenge, all right, as long as you are able to just utilize your beautiful calculator. It should be able to be straightforward. Okay, so Tn is equal to 2n minus 3 over 2. Hopefully that is clear for everyone. So are we on the same page? I hope we are. Page the same? Alright, okay, let's move then. The next one, 6. We have 3, we have 7 over 3, and we have 5 over 3. And forgive me if it is that it seems like I'm staying here a bit longer, but I kind of feel that I need to just maybe spend a bit more time and actually explain out these questions. A is equal to 3. Alright. A is equal to 3. So I'm still in sequence and series destiny K. That's the topic, okay? So yeah, A is equal to 3. D, remember, D we find it by taking T2 minus t1. So we take 7 over 3 and we subtract 3. 7 over 3 minus 3. So we say 7 over 3 minus 3. So you just take your calculator again, alright, and you simply type in 7 over 3 minus 3, and you say equal, and then your calculator gives you the answer, negative 2 over 3. Are you with me? So there we have it. T2 minus T1, we get negative 2 over 3. Then we go to our nth term, because we have a and we have d. Now we can substitute in our nth term. Tn is equal to a. Remember, a is 3 plus. Remember, our d we write before the n minus 1. And whatever our d is, if it's a negative sign, then we know that a positive times a negative will give us a negative, right? So we say negative 2 over 3 times the n is negative 2 over 3n. Then we then say negative 2 over 3 times the negative 1 gives us a positive 3. Positive 2 over 3, sorry. Okay? Because when we distribute this and that, we get negative 2 over 3n. Then negative 2 over 3 times the negative 1 gives us positive 2 over 3. Then we add the like terms. Negative 2 over 3n is our first term. Then we follow it with 3 plus 2 over 3. What's 3 plus 2 over 3? You take your calculator again, you just say 3 plus 2 over 3. And the calculator will give you an answer of 11 over 3. Then there it is. Minus 2 over 3n plus 11 over 3. That is Tn. Okay? So even if there's fractions, people, we shouldn't have that much of a challenge. So please take note of fractions, your usage of a calculator, and please take note of negative numbers. That, you know, minus 4 minus minus 2 would mean minus 4 plus 2. So the signs are very, very important, that we note what the effect of certain signs are with each other. Okay. Now, I want to look at the next few types, or the next few problems that you had for homework as well. And specifically, let's look at, 7 and 8 was also fractions, of course. I mean, you saw the fractions. I'm just not going to go over it, but you can see a is equal to negative 1, d is equal to minus 1 minus minus 1. Do you see that? Minus 1 over 4 minus minus 1. Because you see there's a minus sign already between T2 and T1. So if we say minus 1 over 4 minus this minus negative 1, then it means we're going to have minus 1 over 4 plus 1. If you put this in the calculator, your d is actually equal to 3 over 4. You substitute into Tn, all right? And then obviously when you substitute to Tn, a is negative 1 as you got there, plus the d is 3 over 4. You take the 3 over 4, you distribute it into the binomial bracket. You get 3 over 4n minus 3 over 4. Then you add your like terms. Alright. So you have 3 over 4n minus 1 minus 3 over 4. You take your calculator, you punch this in, you get negative 7 over 4. So Tn is equal to 3 over 4n minus 7 over 4. Okay. Next as well, number 8. Same thing. First term is 1 over 5. Constant difference. You take T2, you subtract T1. So it's negative 9 over 5 minus 1 over 5, which is positive. So you put this into a calculator, you get negative 10 over 5, which is negative 2. That's my d value. D is negative 2. Then you write out your general term. You substitute a in the place of a, 1 over 5. You substitute d, which is a negative 2, in the place of d, right? Negative 2. Do you see what I did here? Big mistake. So let's fix that mistake, because obviously there's supposed to be negative 2 here inside this bracket. So that's an error that I made. Remember, this negative times a positive gives you a negative 2. So you times the negative 2, you times by the n, you get negative 2n. You times take the negative 2, you times it by the negative 1, you get a positive 2. Okay, so this changes my whole entire answer. Error was made there. So you take this negative 2n, you take the 2, you add it to the 1 over 5. That should give you a beautiful answer of what? Of 11 over 5. So the answer is 2n plus 11 over 5. That is my Tn. Okay, not this mistake that I made there. Okay, so you see, I even make errors sometimes, and those errors can be made even by me. All right, remember as well, this was negative 2n. Okay, so negative 2n plus 11 over 5. Okay, sounds good? Hopefully it sounds good, guys. Sounds good. Right, now let's move a little bit to this one, and I'm gonna just do one of each now. I want to look at B1 alone. Sorry, not B1. I want to look at B in its entirety, but I want to look at just B, and then after that I'm going to jump and go and do G. All right, because it's a different type of problem. So I'm going to do B and G. All right. Yeah, B and G I'm going to look at, as well as H. All right, unless there's specific requests that people have, they're like, please say, can you look at this one? Okay, I'll see from you guys in the comment section if there are specific ones that you want me to look at, because you feel like those needed attention. So let's look at this sequence. 1, 3, 10, and 17. We are told it's an arithmetic sequence. Our first question says there we need to calculate the 35th term in the sequence. Now, in this sequence, there are only 4 terms. To find the 35th term, it would mean we'd have to add the constant difference up until we get to the 35th term. That may take a very long time. So the quickest way then to find the 35th term would be to find first the what? The general term of the sequence. So let's go and find the general term Tn. What do we do to find Tn? We must first identify what A is. A in this situation is actually equal to what? To 3. That's A. D is equal to what? The difference between T2 and T1. So it's T2 minus T1, which in this case is 10 minus 3. What's 10 minus 3? It is 7. So we have A, which is 3, and D, which is 7. Now we can go to the nth term, Tn, and substitute A and D. So remember, A plus n minus 1D, but we take the D, we bring it before the binomial. So A is 3 plus D is 7. So we say plus 7 brackets n minus 1. Then we take the 7, we multiply with n, we get 7n. We take the 7, we multiply with negative 1, we get negative 7. So we have 3 plus 7n minus 7. We add the like terms. 7n is not a like term, so 7n is written first. And then what's 3 minus 7? Because 7 is negative. What's 3 minus 7? We get negative 4. So that means Tn is equal to 7n minus 4. Okay. By finding Tn, we can now calculate what is the value of the 35th term in the sequence. This here stands for n. All right. The 35th term. In other words, we want T35. So we come to this formula. Tn is equal to 7n minus 4, which we got and calculated. We substitute 35 in the place of n. Tn, T35. In the place of n, we substitute 35. What was following? Minus 4. All right. Then 7 times 35. You can take your calculator and just simply type all of this in. 7 times 35. Since 7 brackets, 7, let's just say 7, then brackets 35 minus what? Minus 4 gives us an answer of 241. So our answer is 241. Okay, so this is when we are asked to find the 35th term, or the value of the 35th term. We substitute this in the place of n and we find the value. It's 241. This is the value that occupies the 35th position in the sequence. Then the next question says, there is a term in the sequence which is equal to 192. We are asked to find what is that term. The term that is equal to 192. So this is obviously a value of a specific term in the sequence, but we don't know the position that it occupies. So what we want here is to find the position. We are asked to find the term in the sequence which is equal to 192. So if we remember from our lesson that we learned yesterday, to find the term or the position, what do we first do? We first need to equate Tn with the value of the term. Tn is equal to 192. What is Tn? We found Tn, it's 7n minus 4. So we take this Tn, which is 7n minus 4, and we make it equal to the value of the term, which is 192. Then what do we do after that? We solve for n like we would do with linear equations that we did in grade 8. Transpose the minus 4, it becomes plus 4. 192 plus 4 is 196. Then we divide both sides by the coefficient of n, which is 7. And then 196 divided by 7 will give us a nice answer of what? Of 28. So what did they ask? The term in the sequence, which is equal to 192. So we say term 28, therefore it's term 28 that is equal to 192. Because we found that n is 28, it means it's term 28 that is equal to 192. We conclude as such after finding the value of n. Are we together, people? So that's B. C is asking the same question. I'm not going to get into the question, but we are doing the same thing for C. They first asked us to find the general term of half minus 1 and negative 5 over 2. You found A is half. You found that the constant difference, remember, you are going to say T2 minus T1. In other words, minus 1 minus half. What's minus 1 minus half? It's negative 3 over 2. Then you go and write Tn, the formula, A plus n minus 1d. Then you substitute. A is half plus, remember d. D was negative 3 over 2. This positive and this negative makes this d negative 3 over 2. You take the negative 3, distribute it to n, you get negative 3 over 2n. You take this negative 3 over 2, you distribute it to negative 1, you get positive 3 over 2. Then after that, what do? We add the like terms. Negative 3 over 2n is written first, and then half plus 3 over 2 gives us 4 over 2, but when you simplify 4 over 2, you get 2. So the general term is negative 3 over 2n plus what? Plus 2. Next question says, calculate the value of the 100th term in the sequence. What does this 100th mean? It means we substitute 100 in the place of n. So Tn gets replaced by T100, and then in the place of n we substitute 100. Minus 3 over 2, we multiply it by 100, we just put this into our calculator. We should be able to get a nice answer of negative 148. Okay, and then the last question says, which term in the sequence? Swazi, which grade? Which term in the sequence is equal to negative 22? So this is the value of a term. So remember, we substitute, we say Tn, we equate Tn to negative 22. We substitute that Tn, same time, half past n. We substitute that Tn and we equate it to negative 22. Then we solve for what? for n. Remember, whenever we have a equation, all right, and there's a fraction, okay, the constant term, we transpose it, positive 2 changes to negative 20, negative 2, negative 22 minus 2 gives us negative 24. Then when we want to get rid of this coefficient, which is negative 3 over 2, we actually can multiply by the reciprocal, which is negative 2 over 3, which is the same thing as dividing by negative 3 over 2. So we can multiply by the reciprocal of negative 3 over 2, which is negative 2 over 3. When we multiply by that on the left, we get n, but what we do on the left, we must do on the right. So we multiply by negative 2 over 3, we take our calculator, it will give us 16. N is equal to 16, which means it's times 16, which is equal to negative 22. Okay, guys, I'm sure you guys are seeing that the flow of these questions, being able to differentiate between when they ask us for the value of the term, okay, and when they ask us what is the term that occupies a certain position if we are given a certain value. Right, I'm sure you guys are seeing when we are supposed to substitute n, the value, a certain value in the place of n, and situations where we have to actually equate tn with the value of the term so that we can find the value of n. Okay, being able to distinguish between that is very important with these problems. Okay, I'm going to jump and leave all the others because all the others are just us repeating the same procedure and process over and over again. Now let's look at one question that has to do with the variables that I gave you in the game challenge. I gave you g, which said x minus 8, which was the first term, followed by x, followed by 2x minus 5. You were told that this is an arithmetic sequence, and then the question says calculate the value of x. Remember, the minute they tell you that this is an arithmetic sequence, what do we know is the nature of an arithmetic sequence? An arithmetic sequence has a constant first difference. So therefore, what do we do when we are calculating the value of x, where the terms for our variables are arithmetic? We find the first difference. Okay, so which means what we are going to do, all right, I'm going to do j. We take the second term, we subtract the first term, so t2 minus t1. What's t2 minus t1? This is like saying x minus, now x minus 8 is a binomial, so we put it in brackets, very important. Then when you work it out, if you take the negative, you distribute to the x, you get negative x. If you take this negative, you distribute it to the negative 8, you get a positive 8. And then when you add the like terms, x minus x gives you 0, which leaves me with the number 8. This is my first difference for the first two terms. I get the number 8. This is very important. Let's move on. My first difference of t3 minus t2. Take 2x minus 5, subtract x. So I say 2x minus 5 minus x. And obviously, since this is not a binomial, this is just negative x. I add the like terms. What's 2x minus x? I get x, and minus 5 is written next door. Of course, you could do this. So this is 8. This is my first difference, first term in the first difference, and this is my second term in the first difference. These two, we know that they are constant, meaning they are equal. So I can take x minus 5, equate it to the number 8, and then solve for x. Some of you may have done this. You may have just said x minus 8 is equal to 2x minus 5 minus x. You may have written out an equation in this way, which is perfectly fine. And then you went on to just solve the equation. Not forgetting, of course, that this negative needs to be distributed into that, which will lead you to getting 8 on the right and on the left getting x minus 5. And then you solve it, which gets you to the place where you solve for x and you get x is equal to 13. Were we all able to get x is equal to 13, or was it a struggle for us, guys, to get x is equal to 13? Were we able to get x is equal to 13, or was it a genuine struggle? So Pora was able to get to x is equal to 13. Okay, no more was able to get it. Okay. Alright. Which is great, right? Which is very good. It's good if you are able to do it. Olerado, do you see where you made your mistake? Can I ask if you can let me in on where it was that you made a mistake, or didn't you get to this problem in order to be able to do it? Olerado, I would appreciate if you could let me know in the comment section where was your error, or if you didn't do it, if you could be vulnerable enough to just share that. So I was unable to do it. Well, that's also fine. Just that, I appreciate integrity, guys. It means a lot, you know. Truth is something very hard to come by nowadays, but okay. So now, Olerado, please, this is a very important part. Putting the brackets after the minus sign is critical, and then distributing the minus sign inside the bracket is super critical. Failure to do that will basically lead to an incorrect calculation. Alright, I'm sure you guys can see that. So x minus 8, which is equal to 2x minus 5 minus x. I'm sure you guys can see that. The reason why I didn't put brackets around this minus x is because it's just one term. But the reason why we put brackets around this x minus 8, it's a term, but it's a binomial. So if there's a binomial preceded by a negative sign, please guys put brackets, because when you don't, this becomes a totally different expression, which will lead you to a totally different answer. So I advise that, and in fact all textbooks advise it. You put brackets, which will lead you to x minus x plus 8 on the left. On the right you get 2x minus 5 minus x. Take all the x's on one side. 2x when goes over becomes negative x, 2x, and then minus x when he goes over becomes positive x, minus 5, and then 8 if he crosses over becomes negative 8. X minus x is 2x, x minus x is 0, negative 2x plus x gives us negative x, and then we have negative 13. We divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is negative 1, so our final answer is x is equal to positive 13. So that's why it's very important. This is grade 12, guys, grade 12, those who are joining in. So please, Olerado, don't omit to put the brackets. Then remember, they wanted the specific terms. After finding the value of x, they wanted the specific terms of the original sequence. So once we know that x is 13, we can take that 13 and substitute it in the place of x. Very good, Olerado, I'm glad you get it. You take that 13, you substitute it in the place of x. What's 13 minus 8? Gives you 5. Because 13 now minus 8 gives you 5. So it means the actual term was 5, the first term. You take that x, you substitute it in the place of x, which means the second term will be 13. You take that x, you substitute it you take that x, 13, you substitute in the place of x. So it's in brackets 2 times 13, which is 26. 26 minus 5, which gives you 21. So our sequence is 5, 13, 21. And when you observe, there's a constant difference of 8, which makes it really a linear sequence, which also means that our value of x is correct. Okay? Because the sequence we get is linear in nature still. Okay? It would have been a completely different story if we had gotten terms and we could see that there's no linear pattern happening. And that means our x value somehow was calculated incorrectly. Then we can find the general term from that, which you guys know how to go about finding the general term if you have specific terms in the sequence, and the rest should be straightforward. There was a request to look at what? At J. Someone said, please do J. Alright. Just hang on now. I just need to consult the textbook to see what did J say. just need the question. Okay. Jay says, okay, now the J question has an asterisk, which means there is a level of certain difficulty, but honestly speaking, people, that level of difficulty can easily be removed when we understand the concept that we are applying in this question. So we have two represented terms. We have x, y, and 8. And now, guys, please, the minute they say and to you, you have 1, 4x, and 3y. And you can clearly see that in this sequence, we have an x and a y. And in this sequence, you also have an x and a y. And they are telling you these are both what? Arithmetic sequences. And they're asking us to determine the values of what? Of x and y. So both of these are what? They are arithmetic sequences. Which means you can take these individually as arithmetic sequences. Alright, and you can determine the first difference of each of these arithmetic sequences. So here you have it. You have x, y, and 8. The first difference, let's look at this one. Y minus x should give us the first term of our first difference. 8 minus y gives us the second term of our first difference. What do we know about these terms? Because it's an arithmetic sequence, our first difference terms are constant, which means they are equal. So we can take this y minus x and make it equal to 8 minus y. Y minus x equal to 8 minus y. Y minus x is equal to 8 minus y. Then what I can do is I can actually set up one equation from this. An equation that has both x and y, by making one of these the subject of the formula. In grade 11, you guys did solving simultaneous equations, right? So we are actually going to set up two equations which we can solve simultaneously. And I'm sure you can see from this one that the equation that will be formed from this one will be a linear equation. So look at it. If I isolate negative x, I take the y over to the other side. I get 8 minus y, which gives me negative x is equal to 8 minus 2y. And then finally, my x subject, I want it to be positive. So I divide both sides by negative. When I do that, what happens to this negative x? It becomes positive x. When I divide 8 by negative, it becomes negative 8. When I divide negative 2y by negative, it becomes positive 2y. This is my first equation that I am getting from the first sequence. And I used my first differences to form that type of equation. Does that make sense? So that's equation 1. Do you understand what we have just done from the one sequence? Y minus x, first term in our first difference. 8 minus y, second term in my first difference. Are we together? Then we formulate, or we form an equation, because we know these are constant. In other words, they are equal. Y minus x is equal to 8 minus y. We can form a particular linear equation from my first equation that I've formed. Then let's go to the second sequence. It's also arithmetic in nature. So what does that mean? It means we can take t2 and subtract t1 for x minus 1. We can take t3 minus t2, 3y minus 4x, 3y minus 4x. Then this first term and second term in the first difference, these are also what? These expressions are also equal. So what can we do? We can take 4x minus 1 and equate it to 3y minus 4x. And then what do? We just simply set up a second equation. Alright? Yeah. And then this is like we are back in grade 10, where we have an equation here that is linear and another equation that is linear. And we can solve these two equations simultaneously by either using one of two methods, depending on you. In grade 10, you learned how to use the substitution method, or you can use the elimination method. So obviously for us, I mean for me, the easiest method is the substitution method. So if you note here, the first equation, I made x the subject of the formula. For the first equation, I made x the subject of the formula, and I named the equation 3. Then I took this equation, x is equal to negative 8 plus 2y. I substituted it here in this equation, which is 8x minus 1 is equal to 3y. Please take note how I did that. This equation is 8x minus 1 is equal to 3y. There it is. 8x minus 1 is equal to 3y. I'm going to substitute equation 3, which is this equation, into this equation. So where x is, I'm going to substitute minus 8 plus 2y for this equation. Where x is, I'm going to substitute minus 8 plus 2y. So let's write 8. Then inside this x, I'm going to substitute negative 8 plus 2y. So I'm going to write it in brackets. Negative 8 plus 2y. Okay. And then followed by what? By negative 1. Followed by what? By equal. Followed by what? By 3y. Then I take the 8 and I distribute. 8 times negative 8 gives me negative 64. Okay. Like I said, it's up to you which method you are going to use. Remember in grade 10, when you had two linear equations, in grade 10, when you had two linear equations, you could use either one of two methods, the elimination method or the substitution method. I just want you to see the two equations that I have once again so that you can appreciate. I'm just going to write these out. So here's the first equation. This was x is equal to negative 8 plus 2y. This is after me working through that equation, making x the subject of the formula, minus 8 plus 2y. Then the second equation was 8x minus 1 is equal to 3y. So because here I made x the subject, I am using here the substitution method. Okay. Right. I don't know if there are people that are fans of the elimination method, but you always know that you can use either the substitution method or the elimination method if you have two linear equations. So simultaneous equations is important. It goes back to what I said to you yesterday, and I said that's why I love sequence and series at the beginning of the year for grade 12. Why? Because it brings back all the maths that you were supposed to have actually mastered in your grade 11 year. So if you have basically forgotten certain aspects of that, sequence and series is not going to be difficult because the content of sequence and series is a difficult concept to get. It will be difficult because you lack the basic fundamentals that you were supposed to have mastered in earlier grades. Are you with me? So you must get back to winning ways in understanding how the concepts are applied from earlier grades. Your work done in previous grades can't be more important now as you are in grade 12. It's more important now than it has ever been, because most of the things that you will be doing that you will think are new are actually not new in actual fact. They are old, but they are hiding behind a new name. Alright, it's like a new topic and you're like, this new topic, but this new topic, it has all the basics, guys. Alright, so please get back to that. So you see here we substitute equation 3 into equation 1. So where x is, I'm substituting what's negative 8 plus 2y in this equation. So 8 followed by x. So where x is, I'm substituting negative 8 plus 2y In the place of x, I'm substituting negative 8 plus 2y, followed by what? There's a minus 1 there, so I write the minus y, followed by equal to 3y. Now I have an equation that only has y's, which means I can solve for y. Let's go. 8 times negative 2 and 8 times positive 2. 8 times negative 8 is negative 64. 8 times positive 2 is plus 16y minus 1, which is equal to 3y. Then you solve for y. You isolate the y's on one side. You isolate the constant numbers on the right side. Negative 64 minus 1 is negative 65. Then you transpose the negative 65 over to the other side. It becomes positive 65. Then 16y minus 13y is 13y. I mean 16y minus 3 is 13y, equal to 65. Then you divide both sides by 13. So you should get y is equal to 5. Once you get y, remember, what do you do once you get y? You take the y, you go substitute y is equal to 5 into that equation which you had already set up for the purpose of x is equal to. Now you can say x is equal to, in the place of y, you're going to substitute what? 5. So I have minus 8 plus 2 into 5. That's negative 8 plus 10, which is positive 2. So x is equal to what? To 2. Okay. So now, there it is. They said determine the values of x and y. So I've got them. X is equal to 2 and y is equal to 5. Looked like a difficult feat, but not really. And the clue here, guys, is hidden in the fact that you have two arithmetic sequences, x, y, and 8. And then they even say and 1 for x and 3y. So you find the first differences, you equate them, you form an equation from this one. You equate the first differences, you form an equation from this one. You have two linear equations formed, and then you solve them simultaneously. Okay? Right? Yeah, it must be yours, so as the chairman, I'm very sorry about the fact that your connection is bad. Yeah. So guys, that's it. Alright, I'm going to end this live session, and I'll call it arithmetic sequences, the corrections, not of all of them, of course, but of just some of the ones that we decided to identify. All right. What I will do is that I will share, the rest of what we will do. We are going to continue tomorrow, and we are going to look at geometric sequences. So we are going to officially start geometric sequences. Okay. Arithmetic sequence, guys. I'm gonna hold it right there for now. All right, and then we'll continue with geometric sequences and look at that particular type of sequence. So already so far we've looked at quadratic sequences, which was done and dusted. Yes, same time tomorrow, guys, same time tomorrow, which means at 10:30. I hope this time is not too much for you. I know some of you would rather be sleeping and cry me a river, you know what I mean? Cry me a river, or whatever it is that you would rather be doing at this time. Do I make lives every day? Yes, I do. As for now, because school is not officially opened officially, I'm running the lives every single day for all grades from 9, 10, 11, and 12 so far. Okay, that's basically it. So grade 9 every day, guys, not every Saturday. Okay, every day for now. All right, I'm doing it because schools have not opened yet. At least they have not opened officially, according to what the department. I know some schools have opened for their grade 12 learners, and learners are starting to go to school already. Good for them. And they're wearing uniform and all of that. Dimpo says, am I the only one opening on Monday? Which school do you go to, Dimpo? If I may ask, if it's not too sensitive of information. It's my first understanding simultaneous equations. Thank you so much. Is it? So are you in grade 12 or in grade 11 or are you in grade 10? Because it's funny that I see sometimes some grade learners from other grades actually join in. Yes, Wilmore, I do. All chapters, which I'll basically be sharing those activities as we continue along, so that it makes it, you guys can be attracted to come to the sessions and all of that. So we'll take it one step at a time. And if there's things that you guys need to ask, please do ask them. It's not. I'm in Witbank, FH Mkabela Secondary School. Oh, okay. You guys are taking the bull by the horns. You're not messing around, are you? Yeah, you better appreciate those teachers. The teachers that actually open early, I respect them, I also have a metric class that I'll be teaching or taking this year. I haven't taken the metric class since 2022. But obviously, the content and the teaching of the subject is something that I've been doing throughout the years, but it's just that I've not had an official grade 12 class. I'll let you know that I was part of the group that marked the end of year grade 12 maths papers for 2024. So the results will be coming out. Minister of Education will be announcing those results in a few weeks' time. Guys, and so the need to actually teach maths is there. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Hopefully I can do my piece and my part to help you guys understand certain things. So I'm happy when people comment and say that it's the first time they are understanding this or whatever. It actually shocks me because I would think that people understand certain things. So I like the fact that you will see Olerado when the results get released. Okay, I think you'll see for sure. Minently, you are very welcome. You must understand it means a lot. Your words mean a lot when you guys have that magnitude of gratitude. It's worth it to me, the time and the effort and the sacrifice and all of that. So let's continue, get people to take it one step and one day at a time. And please do go and take the time, do more questions, do past papers. When you've covered the section and it's completed and you've done the exercises for that particular topic, especially if you've done all the exercises that I gave you guys, then you are in the position now to actually look at exam type questions where quadratic sequences and where arithmetic sequences are concerned, at least up until that point. Unless you guys are already far ahead and you've done all of sequence and series, it means you can actually go to an actual question paper and you can actually attempt to do exam type questions. Okay, so do those and get into the groove of things, man. Get into the groove of things. But for now, let me love and beautifully leave you. Thank you so much, and God bless you too. God bless all of you as well. God bless you, especially that you will be endowed with a great measure of understanding of the maths content, that you will perform at a level that you yourself have never been able to witness before, that you will excel exceedingly above and beyond your expectations, but more importantly that you will have the tenacity, the consistency, the fortitude and the staying power to continue to actually push and do the work that you are doing in preparing for the year of 2025, so that you can achieve the greatest results that will basically turn heads and make you happy and rejoice. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you have to spend next year trying to improve your maths or your science results. You can actually do justice now, but you need to use every day and make it count and make it worth it. So if you'll do that, I believe you guys will do amazing. Let's do this, man. Let's do this. It can be done. So I love and leave you now. We will see each other tomorrow 10:30 again, and we'll be kicking it off with geometric sequences. Okay, and those who don't know, you can always go to my YouTube channel. I have uploaded, guys. I've uploaded all the videos of the sessions I've done so far, and this one I'll be uploading. I'll try to upload this tonight as well. This session that I'm concluding now with you. Okay, yeah. Thank you again. Yeah, and we'll see each other. The link for the YouTube channel is in my bio, so you can subscribe and just go through with that. Grade 9, I'll see you guys. Grade 9, I'll see you at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. I know it's very early, but yes, it's okay. Then grade 10, I'll see you at 8:30. Grade 10. And then grade 11 and 12, I'll see you later on in the evening. Okay, thank you guys. Let me love and leave you. Thank you.